Nurul Balqis Binti Gani, and here I am to present about our long report, which is titled Arithmetic, Logical and Branch Instruction. In this report, we have 3 exercises, which is exercise 1, exercise 2, and exercise 3. In this exercise, we have to change the instruction into the assembly language, and we have to run the assembly code into the QU Vision software, and we have to find the register that the question 1. With exercise 1, which is this is area my code and readily, and 3 export system init, export main, system init and main. This is a initializing code to start running code in the UVision software. So we go to the code, move R0 874, which means we move 874 install into the R0, and then we move 5578 install into R1, and we move R2, we move R25 to R2. This means load R1, R0, R1, R2 with 874, 5578 and 5, and then R4, we move R4 and R5. This we move R4 and R5 as for 6 and 100, or we create for the temporary for the later use. And then we multiplication R2 and R2, and we store in R2, and then we add R1 and R2 and store into the R3, and then we subtract R3 and R0 and store in R3. Then we multiplication R0 and R4, and we store in R0 and subtract 2477 from R1, which we get for R1 there, and divide R1 by R2 and store in R1. We multiplication R1 and then store into the R1 and store into the R3, and lastly we as division, which is R3 and R5, we divide and we store into the R3. So we have to put the align and end to align the code and end to the stop the code. And then we have to check if the code is true. We can check the code if any error or not. We go to project and we put the target, and after we put the target, there is the output where it is no error and no warning. We can start debugging. Okay, we start with debugging to see the simulation, and we are okay. Simulation not working pula, not responding. So wait for it. Okay, here we can see the debugging process. We can see the simulation in this debugging, which we can see the disassembly, register, and the code. So we want to see the register. So we search the register until we find. So there is the last register. So there is R0, R1, R2, and R3, and so on. So we can choose the R0, R1, R2 and R3 as we asked in the question. Now I will move to exercise 2, which is the question is this. We have to change this instruction into the assembly code, and so I have changed it, and this is the assembly code that I changed. So as usual, we start with this error my code randomly entry export system init. Go to move R0 here. We have to load R0, R1, R2 with 8, 7, 4, 5, 5, 7, 8 and 5. And then we have to move R4, move to 0011000001000 into and store into R4, and we have to set the BTS for 5, and then we add R2 and store into R2 and MVN R2, and we have to divide R2 by 4 and invert the result, and we move R at 2 11111111101010, and then R1 and R2 we have to store it in R1, and then RO R2 install into the RO, and ORR ROR2 we have to rotate the RO2 position to the right and OR it with R2, and then we align it to align the code, and we end it here. After we end the code, we have to put the target, and we have to see the code if there is any error or warning. So we will see it. So there is no any error and warning in this code. So the code is good, true lah. And then we can start debugging. So we start debugging. Because we have to see the simulation here. Wait now. We can see the simulation, which is we can see we have to find. So here we will start debugging. When we start debugging, we can register. This register R0, R1, and R2 based on the question given, and so this is the final R0, R1, and R2. So we can give this answer in the question given. So the last question is exercise 3, which is we have to change the following C code into the assembly. Then we go to the code that we change, which is here. So this is the code that I changed. We start with area, my code randomly export system init, export main and main as usual. 1 to the result RO, and then LDR R1 equal to 5. If mean we have to assign 5 to value R1, and then we have looping here, and then we continue with we have to compare R1 to 10, and then this is BGE done. R1 bigger than 10, and then we have to compare R1 to 7, and then A did a text R1 and R1 mean if R1 equal to 7 and R1 plus equal to 1, and then back loop branch if equal and ADD and E RO 3 which we have to add R1 equal to R1 and which means R1 plus equal to R1, and then B loop means branch loop. We have done the coding and the assembly language, and we have to align and we can end the assembly file, and then we go to the project and we put target, see if there any error and warning. So there is no any error and warning, and then we go to debugging to see the simulation. So when we debugging, we can see the simulation. Wait for the simulation. So the register one is we can find the ball in the register ball. If we can find the register, we have to find in this register ball. So the question is we have to find no, not that. Sorry.